and as one of the leading female voices in all things Web3, please welcome Vicktoria Klich.
Thank you. So, I love the fact that I have the last presentation because now I can talk about all these random things. And really, okay, is this? Okay, perfect. So, first of all, GM Hamburg. GM stands for good morning, and I know it's not morning, but Web3 is in a kind of a decentralized manner, which basically means somewhere in the world it's always morning. So this is why every weirdo on crypto Twitter says GM. Not weirdo, we're also saying that. But the reason that I do what I do, which is basically not only talking but also investing in Web3, is the fact that we've realized with so many other people that a fundamental shift in the is happening with the web. So slowly we're going from Web 1 and Web 2 into Web 3, which is all tied to NFTs, crypto, but also the metaverse, and all the new things that especially bigger companies are now jumping into. But before I continue with examples, to give you a little bit more of a touch point what's actually going on, except for FTX scams. So my name is Vicktoria. I'm the co-founder of the W3 Fund. We invest in digital assets, such as NFTs, but also in Web3 startups in early stages. On top of that, we do a lot of community stuff, such as the W3 Vision, which was a conference together with the DMEXCO in Cologne, but also podcast, newsletter, a lot of community events, actually. And now, in the beginning of next year, we're opening a co-working space in Berlin, completely for Web3 people. But I know someone said it, you said it in the beginning because you were quoting someone. I think you were even quoting Jürgen, right? Oh, yeah. Saying that the metaverse, so you can watch your phone, it's all right. I'm not talking about you, I just want to, because you said, yeah. So because you were saying that the metaverse is a time and not a place, and I totally agree, but what a lot of brands and even NFT projects are doing is defining the metaverse with some kind of gaming environment. And I think one of the best examples that it's currently happening is the metaverse from the Bored Ape Yacht Club, which is one of the leading NFT projects in that space. And they did actually something, okay, I don't need any sound. They did actually something really, really amazing, because from what we know from Fortnite and all these multiplayer games is that you can fit, I don't know, like 50 to 100 people into one server, and then you have to split it up. But in the future, ideally, we should meet in metaverses where we can fit thousands, if not millions of people. But technically, this is very, very difficult right now. And what they're trying, what you have seen in the video, was the first demo test, or the second one, in their world where around about 4,500 people joined at the same time, which is really, really amazing, because also I think the environment looks nice, and putting all this data together and without any server crashing is quite, let's say, revolutionary in that term. But talking about this is maybe why a lot of people actually made fun of Mark Zuckerberg with, I don't know if you've seen it, you probably have seen it, with his screenshot in the metaverse. I mean, it looks completely stupid, and I cannot get my head around the fact that this costs billions of dollars, what he's done there. But what he's working on is something that works for millions of people, and it will at some point look truly amazing, but we all remember all the games that we were playing in the 90s. They looked stupid, and nowadays we have Unreal Engine 5, where game environments just look truly amazing. It just takes time, but it should work, and it's all about the features. So talking about the metaverse, we even have car companies going into their metaverse now. So even Skoda made it at some point. It doesn't look that nice at all, but they're creating new customer experiences in this virtual worlds. And I will talk about another car company jumping into that space later. But Skoda created a whole metaverse for their customers. Talking about the metaverse, we had some kind of interesting events going on. So we had a fashion week in Decentraland, which sounds stupid, I guess, but they did it. We had music festivals in the metaverse. Snoop Dogg is actually a NFT OG. He's doing so many things in the space. And something that you've probably seen already because it's a few years old is these Fortnite concerts with Travis Scott and Ariana Grande. And the most interesting part of it is it's not only an interactive experience somehow, but you can also fit millions of people in this experience, even though they are distributed around a few servers. But I think 20 million people joined that concert, which you could have never done in the real world. And speaking about Gen Z, we have actually this generation doing a lot of stuff in the so-called metaverse, which in that case is Roblox. Roblox is a Web2 based metaverse, so no, not connected to the blockchain. But the most interesting part is that even though for us it's a little bit stupid to identify ourselves with a digital avatar, for the younger generations that are already meeting in environments like Roblox or Fortnite or anything else, for them, it has a meaning to look different than the others. So I've read this report a few weeks ago and I thought it was really, really interesting because approximately, very difficult word, 40% of the monthly users of Roblox are changing their style. And this is something that we know from the real world, but I would not identify myself with someone, I guess, changing my clothes on a daily basis with my virtual avatar, but who knows, maybe I will soon. But we have a whole generation growing up in that virtual environments and they care. And I read a really, really interesting quote that the world's next Coco Chanel is probably a 10-year-old girl who's currently designing avatar skins on Roblox, which is quite interesting because I could not just sit down and design a dress right now. I don't know, I think I'm not capable, but it's way easier if you have the tools and the technology to do it digitally. All of a sudden, everyone can just be very, very creative and design something, and in the best case, also earn a bit of money with that. This is, I think, the most recent example and the one that is the most important for us in our fund because we're highly invested in these NFT projects, is the fact that Nike is one of the biggest players in the Web3 space. They bought design studio Artifact by the end of 2021, and they dropped the Clone X collection, which is a avatar profile picture project. And they're doing a lot of like really nice stuff with their IP, so virtual fashion and everything like that. I don't want to speak about the recent example, Jürgen, a recent thing that was going on with the Clone X ecosystem, but all in all, they're doing like really, really amazing stuff. And they focus on virtual identities, they create virtual fashion. They've worked with the designer Murakami to create some... Hello. Yeah.
One more phone from my collection.
And one thing that was also quite interesting, and just to showcase how many brands are actually entering that space, is they even dropped a collection together with Remova. I think you've already kind of know this brand, to bring suitcases somehow in the metaverse, which sounds stupid, but for the companies, it's not only bringing their products into the metaverse or in these virtual worlds, whatever. They, first of all, want to get to know the technology, they want to position themselves, and honestly, it's just a new vehicle to get to another target group. I mean, just talking about TikTok, even the Tagesschau has TikTok, which is a weird vehicle for them to... But they have a really nice TikTok account, but still, brands are just entering new trends and especially technology trends. Yeah, this is actually really, really new. I just put that into this presentation a few hours ago. Nike and the Artifact people are now distributing the first Web3-based sneaker, which has these like laces that close by themselves. They have like technical shit and stuff, but they're also connected to NFTs, and this is quite interesting. Talking about digital fashion, Adidas was also doing a lot of stuff, even though the first drop, this one, was quite of a weird NFT project because you bought this one and 6 months later you got a hoodie. So still, they were trying out a lot of things, and especially they were partnering with some very interesting NFT projects like the Bored Ape Yacht Club, Punks Comic, or influencers from the scene. And I don't know if you heard of that, but even Tiffany jumped into that space. They said, okay, to every CryptoPunk holder, if you have 32 ETH, which is a shit ton of money, you can buy your own necklace with your CryptoPunk on it. So they were actually connecting an NFT, which is only digital based, with something that is real and is connected and tied to their brand. And they're actually not the only ones. So also Gary Vaynerchuk, one of the most, I would say, famous entrepreneurs, used his VFriends NFT collection to now create toys. We have ASICS with Solana and Steppen, the Move to Earn projects, who are also distributing real-life sneakers, and we also have NFT projects coming up with different types of technologies where they connect physical stuff, like they had this skateboard here, with NFTs. And talking about the virtual identities, I've talked about Roblox before. As I said, Roblox is not a Web3 based ecosystem because it's not on the blockchain. Still, a lot of companies use this as an entry point to just position themselves in an environment where you have, I think it's 200 million active players per month, roundabout. So a huge amount of people, and especially younger generations, that you can target. Even though it doesn't really make sense to have a Gucci store for young people in that space. I mean, who would have, like a 16-year-old or maybe a 12-year-old will not probably have the money to buy something from Gucci. Still, they grew up with that brand. And this brand is creating experiences. And this is quite interesting because talking about this, we had Polo, Ralph Lauren, in Fortnite. So they had I think it was like a Polo Cup racing experience. And I know that my co-founder has a younger brother, and he was going completely crazy about this. He really, really wanted to have these skins. And we also had, for some weird reason, Burberry in Minecraft. Nevertheless, I don't really like the fact that it looks like this. But many, many brands are discovering virtual identities and new environments that are quite new and maybe not very interested to older generations, but still the younger generations will grow up with that brand. So I was speaking about Web2 metaverses. Does this mean that companies don't really care about blockchain at all because we had all these crypto drama and FAT and everything? Actually, there's another thing going on, especially in the last couple of months, is that a lot of Web2 brands are entering that space with a secret sauce where they just don't call the stuff NFTs. And it's a very interesting trend. So last year, everyone was speaking about, I have a metaverse strategy, I have this NFT project and whatsoever. And yeah, it's quite negative, associative to scam and everything that was going on with these hacks. And the technology is still relevant. So they decided to, I don't know if that was literally how they discussed their strategy, but you can see that all of a sudden Starbucks is coming out with their Odyssey program, which is basically putting their reward system program on the blockchain. And they don't really say NFTs and blockchain and whatsoever, at least not that loud. And they call their NFTs digital stamps. So that stuff that you collect when you buy a coffee or do whatever is an NFT now, but people usually don't know that. And the same is what Meta is doing. I mean, they call themselves Meta for Metaverse now, I know. But you also have digital collectibles on Facebook, on Instagram, and this is basically another word for NFT. So now you can just show off your NFT on that platforms without using that word, and that's quite interesting. Reddit was doing the same. They onboarded actually a lot of people into Web3, creating their first wallets. I think it was around about 3 million. And they just called it collectible avatars. Same for Twitter. Twitter is coming up with tweet tiles. This is quite new, so it's not working. That was just kind of a leak.
Elon Musk knew? Or before that?
That was after Elon Musk. We have Nike with the .swoosh ecosystem. They're calling it virtual creations. And we had Nike before, but with that project, with the Clone X project, they're rather targeting the crypto community. And with that virtual creations type of platform, they want to onboard a lot of new people that might be interested, but don't want to have anything to do with this crypto trading stuff and rather the really nice experience behind virtual goods. And now, most recent, nice example, Porsche is doing it a little bit different. I was really, really surprised because their website is called NFT Porsche. So I was surprised that they're really talking about the technology in that way, but they're also coming up with an interactive NFT experience for their communities. And there are not too many informations out yet, so I cannot say more about that one yet. Nevertheless, what we see, we have a lot of institutions and companies going into crypto. So regardless of what is actually going on right now, we still have so many companies jumping into that space, not for the fact that there's a lot of money. Right now, there is not a lot of money that it was last year, but people are really interested in the technology. At least that is my assumption. And I think one of the most interesting turning points was the Ethereum upgrade, which was in September. There was this thing that people always said the blockchain is not environmental friendly, and I get it, proof of work, the consensus mechanism of the Bitcoin blockchain and in the past year, the Ethereum blockchain was very very consuming. But now with the proof of stake consensus, it's actually like one of the most greenest blockchains. And talking about the climate, so what we're investing, just to showcase a little bit what we're looking into, is one platform called Senken. They trade carbon credits on the blockchain and make it more accessible to a lot of people. Plus, the transparency is really interesting, because with the blockchain you can see in like every transaction, everything that is tied to this. If the environment is not that interesting for you, we're also investing in stuff like the football company. So if you're a fan of your favorite team, this football company, they have a lot of licensing deals with other, like the Bundesliga and the DFB, where all the fans of these soccer players can interact together in the metaverse, have their jerseys on and everything. And if you would rather want to invest instead of play, you can now invest in athletes, for example. So let's say you really would like to invest in this new upcoming tennis player because you really believe in his goal, or her goal, sorry. You can easily invest in that one if this person is on the platform, and then also participate in the success of that person. Just to showcase as well that regardless of the market situation, there's still a lot of people building in that space, especially right now, where all the people that generated a lot of money kind of went out of that space. We have a lot of bright minds and innovative people using the technology to build interesting things. And what we're doing on a regular basis is our so-called W3 pizza events. As you might have seen, we play with this W3 word a lot, but it works. And we had one event last week with over 200 people, and they're all builders or investors in that space. And they don't really trade JPEGs on the blockchain. They're really building on sustainable solutions on how we can make the world better with this new technology. So this is my kind of last word. We believe the best time to invest is now. And I actually enjoy the current situation more than last year, where everyone was getting rich with that stuff, because right now we invest in the things that will sustain, hopefully, in the next 5 to 10 years. We also did this. I don't want to make advertisement for this. I just want to showcase that we have a lot of, especially in Germany, a lot of companies doing Web3 stuff in all the different layers. So we created this map to just show how many people are actually involved in that, and that it's more than you might think, especially right now, where you have the feeling that everyone is just looking away. And yeah, thank you.